Okay, welcome back to Bay 25. We shall continue with our discussion in Introduction to Training and Development. So, in our previous lessons, we explored the various aspects of training, such as conducting a training needs analysis and selecting the appropriate training methods. But how do we know if our training efforts are effective and delivering the desired outcomes? That's where training evaluation comes in. Today, we will be discussing the importance of training evaluation and how it can help us measure the impact of our training programs, identify areas for improvement, and even make informed decisions about future investments. So let's dive in and explore the different evaluation methods and models that can be used to evaluate training programs. Okay. So before we define what is training evaluation, let us ponder upon this question. How can you ensure that the time, effort, and resources you invest in training your employees are truly paying off? Okay? So we ponder on this question. How do we know? How do we determine if all the investments we put in training our employees are paying off? So let us imagine a scenario where you invested in a comprehensive training program aiming to enhance your employees' skills and knowledge. Yet, despite the investments, there's no visible improvement in the performance or even affecting the organization's overall result. This is frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, you would be frustrated. You will be asking your training team, or you will be, somehow be frustrated also to your training team, wherein you invested so much money, effort, and time in the training program and doesn't have visible results into the performance of your employees and even the organization as a whole. So this is where the power of training evaluation comes into play. So with a well-structured evaluation process, you can assess the effectiveness of your training programs, identify areas for improvement, and even make data-driven decisions to enhance your organization's performance. So together, we will be looking into the methods, models, and even best practices that will equip you with the tools to create a robust training evaluation strategy. Okay, so let us define what is training evaluation. So, in our discussion, we have mentioned that the goal of training is really to help learner improve their competence, capacity, and even performance. Training also will help learners gain new knowledge and skill. And the most effective training also helps learners apply this information to their workplace. And we call this transfer of learning or simply learning transfer. And what is training evaluation? This is a systematic process to analyze the effects of a training program and to assess its effectiveness. It is also used to gain feedback on how to improve training program. And furthermore, it measures whether a training program meets the objective as to why it was created. So we will be looking into the data such as what, when, how, and from whom. Okay? Etong effectiveness ng isang training program. So the outcome of an evaluation of training should give management all the information they need as to what worked, what did not work, and improvements for the future. It should also provide a clear indication if the money spent on the training program produced the desired results. So evaluating training effectiveness shows you how useful your current training offerings are and how you can improve them in the future. What's more, effective training leads to higher employee performance and satisfaction, boosting team morale, and even increase your return on investment. And as a business, you're investing valuable resources in your training programs. So it's really imperative that you regularly identify what's working, what's not, why it's not working, and how to keep improving. And there are two concepts that we have to also take note when we are conducting training evaluation. We have in here training effectiveness and training outcomes. So Training effectiveness and training outcomes are two related yet distinct concepts in the context of training evaluation. Training effectiveness refers to the extent to which a training program or course has achieved its intended goals, such as improving employees' knowledge, skills, and abilities. It also considers factors like the quality of your training content, the delivery method, and how well the training aligns with the organization's objectives. So, in essence, training effectiveness is about measuring the quality and substance of training itself. So, it really focuses on the benefits that the company and the trainees will receive from the training. On the other hand, training outcomes focus on the tangible results and consequences of training. These outcomes can be observed and measured at the individual, team, or organizational level. Examples of training outcomes include improved job performance, increased productivity, better teamwork, enhanced employee satisfaction, and even a positive impact to the organization's bottom line. Training outcomes demonstrate the real-world implications and benefits of a training program. So overall, pag sinasabi nating training effectiveness, this evaluates the success of the training program in achieving its goals, while training outcomes examine the tangible results and benefits of the training for the individuals and organization as a whole. Both concepts are essential for comprehensive understanding of the value and impact of training programs in the field of human resource management. Now, another key terms that we have to be aware of kapag nasa training evaluation tayo is the formative evaluation and summative evaluation. And also pilot testing. So in the context of employee training, formative and summative assessment as well as pilot testing play essential roles in evaluating and refining training programs to ensure their effectiveness. Pag sinasabi nating formative evaluation or formative assessment in the employee training, this involves continuous monitoring and feedback during the training process. It enables trainers and employees to gauge their progress, identify areas of improvement, and adjust training methods as needed. Examples of formative assessment in employee training includes in-session quizzes, group activities, role plays, and event discussions. Formative assessments helps to ensure that employees are engaged, learning effectively, and that the training content is relevant and well understood. Summative assessment, on the other hand, takes place after the completion of a training program. It aims to evaluate the overall effectiveness of the training by measuring the knowledge, skills, and abilities employees have acquired. Examples of summative assessments in employee training includes post-training exams, evaluations, and even performance reviews. Summative assessments provide valuable insights into the training's impact on employee job performance and overall contribution to the organization's success. And along the formative evaluation and summative evaluation stages, pilot testing is also being implemented. So what is pilot testing? This is an essential step in the development and implementation of your employee training programs. Pilot testing can be used as yung common term natin na dress rehearsal to show the program to managers, trainees, and customers. So normally, before launching a new training program or assessment method, it is really crucial to conduct trial run with a small group of participants to identify potential issues, gather feedback, and make unnecessary adjustments. Pilot testing can be applied to both formative and summative assessment, as well as the training content and delivery methods. So by conducting pilot tests, organizations can ensure that the training materials, assessments, and methods are appropriate, relevant, and effective before they are rolled out on a larger scale. So overall, formative and summative assessments along with pilot testing are vital components of employee training evaluation. Formative assessments ensure that training is on track and effective during the training process, while summative assessment measures the overall impact of the training on employees' performance. And pilot testing is there to help refine the training program and assessment methods, ensuring their effectiveness and success before full implementation. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. And then we have here now the model that we are going to use to evaluate training effectiveness. Yeah. And ang pinakasikat na model na ginagamit in training evaluation is the Kirkpatrick evaluation model. So anytime you deliver a training to your employees, you need to know how effective it's been. You might be asking the question, are your people putting their learning into practice? And you might be also asking, is it positively impacting their role and the wider organization? So Kirkpatrick's 4-level training evaluation model can help you answer those questions. So you can use it to objectively analyze the impact of training to work out how well your training team and even your members learned and to improve their learning in the future. So this model was developed by Donald Kirkpatrick in the 1950s. And this model can still be implemented before, throughout, and following training to show the value of training to the business. So undoubtedly, the most widely used and in-demand method for assessment of training in business is the Kirkpatrick system based around these 4 levels as guidelines. So this model has been used for over 30 years by many different types of companies as the major system for training evaluation. So it's evident that the Kirkpatrick model has made positive impact to the overall practice of training evaluation. So just like what I mentioned, there are 4 levels of assessment. Okay, so parang 4-step process that helps you understand how well the training program is working. So let us go down in each level. Level 1, reaction. So this is all about how people feel about the training. So you might answer the question, did they enjoy it? Was it easy to understand? So by these kind of questions, you usually find this out by asking participants to fill out a survey or questionnaire after the training. So this level helps to see if the training was engaging and well. See, level 2, learning. This level focuses on what participants learned during the training. Did they gain new knowledge or skills? So you can measure this through quizzes, tests, or even observing participants during the training. So at the learning level, it helps to see if the training was effective in teaching the intended content. Level 3, behavior. Now in this level, it is about how the training affects the participants' actions. Are they using their new skills or knowledge in their work? So in here, you can evaluate this through observations, interviews, or even performance review after some time has passed since the training. So this level helps you see if the training has had positive impact on the participants' job performance. And then lastly, yung pinakamataas, level 4, results. This is the final level. And it's all about macro perspective or the bigger picture. Did the training lead to improved results for the organization? Like, is there an increased productivity or a higher customer satisfaction or increased level of sales and the rest? So you can measure this by looking at the different metrics, just like sales numbers or performance indicators. And this level helps you see if the training has contributed to overall success of the organization. So the Kirkpatrick evaluation model is really a way to check if a training program is doing its job at different levels, from how people feel about the training to its impact on the organization's success. So it's a very handy tool for making sure your training programs are effective and worthwhile. Okay, so let's try to discuss more about this level of assessments or 4 levels of evaluation. So level 1 muna tayo. So pag level 1, sabi ko nga kanina, this is all about how the people in the training program felt about it.
So we ask questions like, did they enjoy the training? Did they find it useful? So at this level, we wanted to know if participants like the training and if they think it was worth their time. This helps us understand if the training was interesting and engaging. And at level 1 reaction, it gives us clues on how to make it better for future sessions. Level 2 of the Kirkpatrick evaluation model is about how or about what participants learn during the training program. At this level, we check if they gain new knowledge or skills that they could use in their jobs. At level 3, this is about how participants use their new knowledge and skills in their actual jobs. So at this level, we want to see if the training made a positive change in how they work and how they perform the tasks. And then level 4, this is all about, sabi ko kanina, macro perspective, about the big picture. It's where we check if the training program has made a real difference for the whole company. Okay? So let's go down and discuss further on yung mga components ng each level. So level 1, you just want people to feel that the training is valuable. So measuring how engaged they were, how actively they contributed, and how they reacted to the training helps you understand how well they receive it. So it enables you to make improvements to future programs by identifying important topics that might have been missing. So understanding how employees perceive the training can give you insight into what is working well or needs improvement. So basically, level 1 is just driven by personal experiences and feelings as it relates to the specific course offerings. So normally, question dito generally is, did the learners find this training worthwhile or enjoyable? So, level 1 reaction, at yung pinaka-common na type of evaluation that organizations are carrying out today. So, training practitioners often give or hand out smile sheets or happy sheets to participants at the end of the workshop or e-learning experience. So, participants then rate on scale of 1 to 5 how satisfying, relevant, or engaging the training is. So, level 1 data tells you how the participant feel about the experience, but this data is the least useful for maximizing the impact of training program. Okay? Kasi medyo mababaw lang yung tinitignan niya na or minimeasure mo. Okay? And we all know naman na ang purpose talaga ng training is to improve employee performance. So, while an indication that employees are enjoying the training experience or nag-enjoy sila dun sa training, maganda yung engagement, it does not tell us whether or not we are achieving our performance goal or helping the business. So, at the reaction level, normally, ang goal lang talaga natin dito is to measure the trainee's overall satisfaction, engagement, and the perceived relevance of the training. Okay? So, some of the sample KPIs here or key performance indicators for level 1 include participation rate, completion rate, and net promoter score or NPS. Okay. Pag sinasabi natin participation rate, normally, this measures the percentage of invited employees who actually attended the training. Okay? So, kung mataas ang participation rate, this indicates that employees are interested in the training and find it relevant to their roles. Number 2, completion. It's not enough that we measure the participation rate. Mas maganda na mataas ang participation rate at mataas din ang completion rate. Because completion rate measures the percentage of participants who actually completed the entire training program. So, pag mataas ang completion rate, this suggests that training was engaging and held the participants' interest throughout its duration. And number 3, net promoter score. This KPI gauges the participants' likelihood to recommend the training program to their colleagues. So normally, the net promoter score is calculated by asking participants a very simple question on scale of 1 to 10. how likely are you to recommend this training to a colleague? So, NPS is calculated by subtracting the percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters. So, pag mataas ang NPS or positive ang NPS, this indicates that participants found the training valuable and would recommend it to others. So, by measuring these KPIs at level 1, you can gain insights into the participants' initial reactions and overall satisfaction with the training program. So, this information can help you identify areas for improvement and make adjustments to enhance the training experience for future participants. Level 2 learning. So, in here, ang focus is measuring what your trainees have and haven't learned. Okay? So, learning data tells us whether or not the people who take the training have learned anything. Specifically, it helps you answer the questions: did the training program help participants learn the desired knowledge, skills, or attitudes? So, this demonstrates how training has developed their skills, attitudes, and knowledge, as well as their confidence and commitment. To measure how much your trainers have learned, start by identifying what you want to evaluate. So normally, nakalagay na doon sa ating mga specific learning objectives. So you can measure learning in different ways depending on your objectives. But it's helpful to measure these areas both before and after the training. Kaya nga, I know you are knowledgeable with the pre-test and post-testing. You might also have encountered that when you attended training or even in your classroom. Before the training begins, test your trainees to determine their knowledge, skill, levels, and even yung kanilang attitude. Then, when the training is finished, test your trainees a second time to measure what they learned or measure their learning with interviews or verbal assessments. Okay? And at level 2, the goal really of this level is to evaluate whether the training effectively conveyed the necessary information and enabled participants to develop the desired competencies. So, ang mga common KPIs dito are acquired knowledge, skills, transfer of learning, and even yung kanilang confidence level. So, at the acquired knowledge and skills, you will be determining here, is there an increase in the knowledge and skills of the participants as a result of the training. So, pwede mong i-measure yan through pre- and post-training assessments. Quizzes or tests that compares participants' understanding of the subject matter before and after the training. So, if there is a significant improvement in test scores, that will indicate that the training was successful in teaching the intended content. Number 2, yung transfer of learning. So, it measures the participants' ability to apply the newly acquired knowledge or skills in the job roles. So, how do you evaluate that? You could evaluate that through practical exercises, simulations, or case studies during the training. This will require participants to demonstrate their ability to use the new skills in the real-world scenario. So, kapag mataas ang level of transfer ng learning, it suggests that participants are more likely to apply what they learned into their day-to-day work. Okay. So by using these two KPIs at level 2, you could determine the effectiveness of your training program in terms of imparting the desired knowledge and skills. Okay. So in level 2, there are various tools that you could use determine kung meron ba talaga silang natutunan, meron bang nadagdag doon sa kanilang mga knowledge and skills. So you could use quizzes and tests. This includes assessment or short assessments that measure participants' understanding of the training content. So you are familiar with this: multiple choice, fill in the blanks, short answer questions designed to test the knowledge and skills acquired during the training. And then we also have perceptions and feedback. So this involves gathering participants' opinions throughout the or thoughts throughout the training program. So you could use surveys, questionnaires, informal discussions. And the feedback you could gather from these perceptions and feedback surveys will help trainers understand the strengths and weaknesses of training and make improvement for future sessions. Okay. Another is yung problem situation-based exercise. These activities that present participants with realistic scenarios or challenges related to training content. So, participants are now being asked to apply their newly acquired knowledge and skills to solve problem or navigate the situation. So, yung mga exercises na binibigay could evaluate the participants' ability to transfer learning to real-world context. And then we have here game-based activities. Alam naman natin na mas nagiging participative ang mga participants if meron kayong mga game-based activities because these are interactive and engaging activities that involve elements of play, competition, or collaboration to help participants learn and practice new skills. So examples of this are simulations, role-playing, and even team-based challenges. Then number 5, we have here project-based activities. This require participants to work on specific project or task related to the training topic, either being done individually or in groups. And projects are designed to help participants apply their new knowledge and skills in a very practical context. And by evaluating the final output or progress of the project, trainers can assess the participants' understanding and mastery of the training content. So, yung project, pwede i-assign yan during the training program with participants working on them either in parallel with the training session or even consider the final output or assignment at the end of the program. And sometimes, the project is now the summative evaluation, allowing trainers to assess participants' ability to apply the training content to a practical task. Then level 3, we have here now behavior. Okay. Since the purpose of corporate training is really to improve performance and produce measurable results for a business, this is the first level where we are now seeing whether or not our training efforts are successful. So, effectively measuring behavior is a longer-term process that should take place over weeks or months following the initial training. Okay, so yan yung mga questions na tinatanong sa level 3 behavior. Did the trainees put any of their learning to use? Are trainees able to teach their new knowledge, skills, or attitudes to other people? Are trainees aware that they have changed their behavior? So, one of the best way really to measure behavior is to conduct observations and interviews. Another is integrating the use of new skills into the tasks that you set your team so that people have the chance to demonstrate what they know. Pwede rin na you look into reviewing performance metrics, observing employees directly, and conducting performance reviews are the most common ways to determine whether on-the-job performance a bit improved. So at level 3, ito yung mga common KPIs na tinitignan. Employee engagement. It measures the degree to which employees are actively involved and enthusiastic about their work after the training. So pag mataas ang higher or kung mataas ang engagement levels, that could indicate that employees are motivated to apply their new skills and knowledge on the job. So how do you evaluate employee engagement? You could use survey, direct observations, or even one-on-one interviews. And also, looking into higher morale could also be one of the KPIs that you could use in level 2. Another is yung improved performance metrics. This KPI, yung improved performance, We'll specifically track now performance-related indicators that are tied to the training objectives. For example, if the training focus on customer service skills, you might measure improvements in customer satisfaction ratings or reduce response time to customer inquiries. So by monitoring these metrics, you could determine if the training has led to tangible improvements in job performance. So at level 3, you could determine now here if training program has resulted in positive changes in employees' behavior and performance at work. So the data in level 3 or information that you will gather at level 3 can help your team identify areas where additional training or support may be needed and refine your training programs to maximize impact on employee performance. Okay, so ito yung mga common na technique na ginagamit to assess if there are changes in the behavior of the learner after the training. Then lastly, we have here level 4 results. So on level 4 of the Kirkpatrick evaluation model, just like what I'm being discussing kanina pa, it's all about the big picture. It's where we check if the training program has made a real difference for the whole company. So, na yung overall contribution ng training niya sa organization as a whole. So, we look at things like whether the training helped the company make more money, make customers happier, or keep employees around longer. By looking at these results, we can see if the training was worth it and if it helped the company achieve its goals.
Okay.
So, yun mga common, employee retention, and the following work outcomes or organizational outcomes. And increase productivity, lower staff turnover, and the rest. Now, aside from the Kirkpatrick model, we also have the Phillips model for training evaluation. Okay? So, looking at the Phillips model for training evaluation, merong panglima na step doon. So, the Phillips B model takes the Kirkpatrick model step further by looking at the money side of the things. It tries to figure out if the training was worth the cost by checking how much the company gained from it. And since it's very tricky to directly link training to how well the business is doing, the Phillips B model uses special numbers and measurements to get as close as possible. This way, we can see if the training was a good investment for the company and if it helped improve overall performance. So, itong model ni Phillips, it helps us determine if the training was a good investment by comparing the benefits or gains from the training to the cost involved in implementing it. Okay? So, yan, meron tayong tinatawag dito na return of investment or return on investment doon sa training na yan. Now, question is, why calculate the ROI of training? So, basically, ROI calculations of training aims to answer to broad similar questions. Number 1, are trainees gaining new knowledge and skills so that they can increase efficiency or reduce costs in the workplace? Second question, can we measure the cost of this training against the benefits to both the individuals and the organization? So, by calculating the return on investment of training program, makikita natin dito if the training was really effective and worth the money. It also helps us to figure out which training programs to focus in the future to get the most out of our investments. Additionally, pag titignan natin yung ROI, decision makers can see what worked well in the training and what could use some improvement. So, overall, calculating ROI is a useful way to figure out if training programs are helping the company and worth the resources spent on this. So how do we calculate our return on investment dun sa mga training program? So there are 3 key factors that you have to consider. Direct costs, indirect costs, and benefits. Direct costs are the expenses that could be directly attributed to the training program, such as instructor fees, materials, and even venue rentals. These costs are straightforward and easy to calculate since they are directly related to training program. Indirect costs, on the other hand, are expenses that are not directly related to training program but are necessary for it to occur. Costs like salaries of employees who attend the training, the cost of lost productivity during the training, and other expenses that are not immediately apparent falls into the indirect costs. Then lastly, we have here the benefits. Benefits are the value that the company gains from training program. So these are the positive outcomes that result from the training program. This could include increase in sales, ano pa ba? Yung mga increased productivity, reduce errors, improve customer satisfaction, and other benefits that are relevant to the organization. So in the computation of return on investment, we have a general formula na pwede natin gamitin to calculate the ROI of the training program. So this is very straightforward and simple. You would subtract the total cost. This includes now direct and indirect costs from the total benefits, and then divide that number by the total cost. So looking at the figure here in the PowerPoint, makikita natin na meron tayong 161% return on investment. So by understanding the direct costs, indirect costs, and benefits of training program, decision makers can now determine the ROI and make informed decisions about training initiatives. You will be looking into the various benefit. Then you will also be looking at the overall or total cost of the training from planning to the implementation of your training program. Okay. Then we have here now the Kirkpatrick evaluation model has different levels of evaluation that occur at different times after the training program. So here's a breakdown of when each level typically happens. Pag titignan mo, level 1 and level 2, pwedeng during or directly after the learning program. Level 3, after 2 to 6 months after the learning program. Kasi dito, kailangan mo talaga ng mas mahabang panahon because you will be measuring here whether the participants have been able to apply what they learned on the job and if there has been a positive change in their behavior and in their performance in the organization. The impact or level 4 results, normally 6 to 12 months after the learning program or the training program because ang minimeasure mo na dito is yung improvements in the productivity, efficiency, customer satisfaction, and other relevant areas in the performance of their jobs. Then level 5, return on investment. This level happens 12 to 24 months after the training program. Mas matagal talaga dito because you are now measuring the financial return on investment of the training program. So you will be looking into the cost now and the gains that you have or the benefits you get from the implementation of your training program. So by evaluating the training program at each level, decision makers can get comprehensive view of its effectiveness and determine how to improve it in the future. Then lastly, we have here training evaluation methods. O yung mga tools na gagamitin natin on how we are going to evaluate level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First on the list is evaluation forms or questionnaires. So this is a method where you simply ask participants to complete a form or a questionnaire to provide feedback on the training program. Advantages is this is very easy to administer, and even in the collection of data, it's very convenient on the part of the trainers or the training team. It can provide standardized and even quantitative data, and participants can provide anonymous feedback. The drawback is just that participants may not take the form seriously, or they may not provide you honest feedback. And it may not also capture detailed or qualitative feedback. And sometimes questions may not be relevant to all participants or the training program goals. That's why, pwede ba tayong gumamit ng interview? So this method is a one-on-one interview with participants to gather feedback on the training program. So in here, you can now provide detailed and qualitative data. And participants now can provide more context and nuance than a form or a questionnaire. And it could also be tailored to each participant and their experiences. The only drawbacks in here is very time consuming to conduct. And even in analyzing data, it will take so much time also. Another is it's difficult to schedule and coordinate interviews with all the participants. And at some point, the interviewer's presence may influence the participants' responses. Okay? Then we also have here observations. This method involves participants as they apply the training content to their job duties. Dito na, direct evidence na. Ang tinitignan dito, no? Evaluate. So, pinapanood mo kung paano siya mag-perform. Okay. You can now identify specific areas where participants need additional support or training. And using this method will allow you for real-time feedback and coaching. Ang disadvantage lang nito is it may not capture all aspects of training program or participant behavior. And again, this requires a lot of time and resources when you are conducting observations. And at some point, the presence of an observer may influence the participant behavior, especially when they know that you're observing them. I don't know if you can still recall the yung study ni the halo effect. Yung halo effect. When people know that they're being observed, mas ginagalingan nila. Then we have also here 360-degree feedback. So instead of just the supervisor being the main actor in determining if the participant have learned something, you could also use their peers and subordinates to see if there are changes in their behavior or in the performance of their task after the training. So yan, hindi lang isang perspective. So multiple perspective, and there is already a comprehensive and holistic view of the participants' performance. And this type of training evaluation method can promote a culture of feedback and open communication. Again, ang disadvantage naman is time-consuming to collect and analyze feedback from multiple sources. And then lastly, we have here focus groups. Ano po itong focus group? This method involves gathering a small group of participants to discuss their experiences and feedback on the training program. So parang sa interview rin, yung nga lang, ang disadvantage nito is it may not capture individual experiences or feedback. Okay? So, kasi minsan meron ding pagkakaiba yung mga experiences ng each individual in the training program. So, para hindi siya truly a representative of all those participants. Okay. Overall, its evaluation method has its advantage and disadvantages. And choosing the right method or a combination of methods from this different of these 5 methods depends on the goal of the training program, the participants, and even the available resources. Okay? So, in conclusion, training evaluation is a critical aspect of training and development function of human resource management. Ang purpose naman ito is to help organization determine the effectiveness of their training programs and make data-driven decisions about future training investments. And the Kirkpatrick model and the Phillips B model are 2 popular frameworks used to evaluate training programs, with the former focusing on the levels of evaluation, and the latter on the measuring the return on investment. Okay, so it's important to note that no single evaluation method is perfect. Choosing the right approach depends on the goals of the training program, the participants, and the available resources. Ultimately, the goal of training evaluation is to ensure that employees are receiving high quality training that enables them to improve their skills and contribute positively to the organization. So, by using the appropriate evaluation methods and models, decision makers can make informed decisions about training programs, allocate resources effectively, and measure the impact of their investments. This leads to a more efficient and effective workforce and contributes to the overall success of the organization. Okay, so that's our discussion on training evaluation.